Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.
It was okay for you to squeeze a fellow woman's breast.
She did that.
Yes, she squeezed my breast. We all know how tender a woman's breast can be. She didn't find anything. She went down to my private parts to start checking, and at that point I lost it. I'm like, no, why are you touching me like that? The female officer that harassed me would not go scot-free.
Tell us about Sunday's event. What happened?
Okay, so on Sunday, the organization that I belong to, End Bad Governance. So we planned on going to Lekki Toll Gates for a memorial service. And then the plan was very peaceful. We've always been peaceful, right from the Ojota protests that we've been organizing. We've always been peaceful. We've never been the violent type. So while we were on our way going to Lekki Toll Gates, we got an information from the TIB members that police were already there and they were throwing tear gas and they were already arresting some people. And then we had a brief meeting inside the bus, and we agreed that we were going to go there, lay our weight, and say our prayers, and that was it. And then explain to them why we're actually there, and we're just there for, at least we're not planning to even spend up to an hour there. It was more of max a 30 minutes kind of possession. So we're going to explain to them when we get there that this is why we are here. And of course, it's not a crime to go there and have a remembrance of people that died 4 years ago. I've not seen anywhere in the Constitution where it is a crime to do that. So we felt that, we were on our rights, and this is something that is basically our fundamental human rights in a sane society. So we went forward without fear or anything, and we're not criminals, so why should we be scared hearing that police people are already there? And that should not, make us scared to go back, because we're not holding any arms, we're not holding any incriminating things that would make us scared. So we went forward. We were in high spirits, and when we got to Lekki Toll Gate, we saw them. So we came down from the bus. I was the one holding the weight, and then there were people holding the banner, and then the placards, and we're singing our solidarity song, and we're coordinating ourselves. And when they were coming towards us, these policemen were more than 200, and we were less than 30. We're not even up to 25. And when they were coming towards us, we stayed back, and then we raised our hands, one hand up, just to show them that we are peaceful. We're not coming to have any altercation with you people and everything. So when they were coming closer, Soweto asked us to stay put, and we should stop singing and let him speak to them. So when they got pretty close to us, the next thing, we were surrounded immediately. And then Soweto moved forward to speak to one of the policemen to explain why we're here and all. It happened like a flash. Before you knew it, the police people they dragged the wheat from me. They started carrying some of the comrades, started holding them, they started beating us. We started screaming like, okay, what did we do? Why are you guys beating us? We're not here with any harms. You guys did not see us. We're not even resisting arrest. You want to arrest us? It's fine, no problem. We're going to follow you, but don't beat us. And then they were like, I remember one saying, Madam, respect yourself, this, that, and the male comrades, they got it tougher. I must confess, they got it tougher. If you were passing by and you saw the way they were brutalizing these people, especially the male comrade, you would literally think that they were thugs or they were armed robbers that they caught in the midst of, committing a crime, and they needed to apprehend them almost immediately. And because you are being caught in an act of a crime that you are committing, so they are dealing with you immediately. That was how it was. It was more like a jungle justice that we preach against, and this was the act that these policemen that are supposed to be very professional are not, and I don't think they are well educated and well trained in the field of their job, because on that very day, the manner of approach and the exhibition of what they did, even in their full regalia, shows that they were nothing to write home about. These people are not well trained. These people do not even know the core primary value of why they are in the force in the first place. Because why are you in the force? You are there to protect life and property. So it means that the life comes first before the property. So every human life should be treated preciously, should be treated with careful, with respect and dignity. But in that process, our dignity was stripped off of us, each and every one of us. There was a comrade that was stripped naked, taken inside a bus, stripped naked, and was beaten. And while they were beating him, they told him that, oh, we saw you during NSAS, and we don't they see you. We they wait for you, you know they hear what. And they were beating him. The men literally had to look for a rope and then tie his boxers and tie, and it was a terrible sight. A comrade Kingsley, in front of me. This is not TSC. I was there. At some point, I had to even come in the middle. I'm like, why are you beating him like that? Why are you hitting him? Blood was gushing out of his mouth. Why did you have to do that to us? We were very peaceful. Now back to we the ladies. So when they were carrying us to the Black Maria, they were first taking every one of us to a particular Black Maria. And then when we got there, they were saying, enter, enter. So for some reason, they changed their mind and decided to separate the male from the female. So they took, we're about 4. Yeah, myself, Comrade Blessing, Comrade Fumi, and yeah, we're 4 comrades, female comrades. So they took us to a different Black Maria. And then when we got there, mind you, while they were taking us to that Black Maria, they were not taking us like, oh, you're just walking and then they're allowing us to walk. Do you understand? Because of course we're not resisting arrest. But no, they were pushing us like we're goats. You know how you push namas? That was how they were doing. Like you would literally think that each and every one of us that were there on that day were onukodekus. Like we did not know what we were doing. And it's so painful that these police people, these people that they've taken an oath to protect us, our lives and our property, would be so proud to dehumanize us and make us feel so broken and strip you of your dignity. Now, while we got to the Black Maria, the male police officers were outside and they were saying, collect their phones, collect their. So a female police officer had already collected our phone. And then we were trying to make 1 or 2 calls because we do not know where you guys were taking us to. We don't even know why we're being arrested, why we're being harassed, why we're being beaten. Nothing was explained to us. There was, like, these people did not even have a conversation with us like we're normal human beings. They treated us literally like animals, like we're below them and we're not good enough for them to have a conversation to say, okay, this is what you guys have done. Or better still, we do not want you guys to be here. And then we resist that, oh, we're still going to be here. Then you can probably take your actions and be like, oh, I've spoken to them and they did not want to listen. There was no conversation. So we were more like an animals in the hands of them. And when they took us inside, we got into the Black Maria and we had given our phones. And then the male officers were like, that female officer, she's that girl, she's still holding her phone. They now called the female officer. Now my question is, if you do not have an ulterior motive, one, I have never seen wear in the police uniform in all my life where you have to wear a mask in your full regalia and you do not even have your name tag on. That is highly unprofessional. Wearing a mask with just your eyeballs showing is not part of any force uniform. I've never seen anywhere that is part of their uniform. Please, if that is part of their uniform, I would love the CP to kindly clarify me on this. Because the police officer that molested me, if she didn't have any ulterior motive, Or probably when she left her house, she said, oh, I'm going to do this and do whatever to these people and treat them like their life did not matter, because that was what they actually did to us. They made us believe that our life didn't matter. We were nothing to them. We were like fowls that they could just slaughter. Some policemen actually said they were going to shoot us. Some made that statement. Some said, who send una? Who send una the fights? Waiting consign us. Now, so back to when the policewoman wanted to get my phone, which I had already submitted earlier. And they told her that the male police officers were like, oh, she don't put them inside her private parts, check her private parts, her phone dey there. And you as a woman, as a mother, it was okay for you to squeeze a fellow woman's breast.
She did that.
Yes, she squeezed my breast. We all know how tender a woman's breast can be. She squeezed my breast, and that wasn't enough for her. She didn't find anything. She went down to my private parts to start checking, and at that point I lost it. I'm like, no, why are you touching me like that? And a woman like me that has the same breast like I do, the same female organs like myself, opened her mouth, and she knows how delicate a female organs are, and she opened her mouth to tell me that there is nothing special about my body. Wetin dey your body where they know they touch? How can you? In the normal senses, you do not even have the right to seize my phone in the first place. You do not have the right to seize my phone. Now, if you had seized my phone, how would I even contact my loved one to say, oh, this is what happened to me, this is where I am? You seized my phone. I said that wasn't enough for you. You felt touching me in a very unprofessional and inappropriate manner was okay, because to you, I wasn't up to the standard of people that should be touched. To you, I wasn't a woman enough. To you, I was less than a twat or something. It was a very bitter experience, and afterwards, I was in so much shock, because I felt like, did this just happen to me? Is this real? Because this is a policewoman. If the men do not understand, as a woman, you should understand. This woman, we are literally dragging. So imagine, take a visual imagination that someone else is trying to put their hands, because I was wearing leggings, in my private part to search for a phone that they had told her, and they had convinced her that I had literally put this phone inside my private parts to hide it. So she was bent on pleasing the men and making sure that she does her job, like, yes, so you are the one that can handle these women. She wanted to show that she was so tough, and she was, but that was you selling your conscience. Where is your empathy? And while she put her hand there, I had to also put my hand, because you do not expect me to feel comfortable with you trying to put your dirty hands inside of me to search for a phone that my fellow comrade is shouting at you and telling you that she has submitted her phone, but you were bent on doing what the male colleagues were asking you to do. So in the process, myself and her, I was trying to drag her hand out and all, and then she was also threatening me that things like, oh, if I don't quit, I should better allow her to do her job, things like that. I'm like, you cannot touch me. She was like, waiting there your body, who are you, this, that? And I told her that, see, I am finer than you, and I'm way better than you are. And I know that she might be older than me. Of course she's older than me, but I am way better than her when it comes to humanity. I would not do that to a fellow human. I want the police to understand that before the uniform, they were first humans. The only thing that separates a police officer from us is the uniform. They were all civilians. They were all humans. We all have the same blood running through our veins before you became a police officer. So why would you see me outside fighting for a just cause that you and I would enjoy. Your children would enjoy this. Go to the police barracks. Police barrack is nothing to write home about. They do not have the best medical care. Their children are nothing to write home about. And now there are young people out there speaking out against the brutality, against the tyranny of this government. And you are being used as a tool against us, and you are happy to do the job. Even if they give you order to go ahead and do something, I think when you get to the field, let your human empathy be there. Use your sense and know that let me do the right thing. That even if tomorrow I'm being called anywhere, I will hit my chest and said, I did my job and I did it perfectionally. If you wanted to arrest us, arrest us. Do not hit us. Do not harass us. Okay, so from the Black Maria to Banti, after a while, they came and then they brought us out from the particular Black Maria that they were taking us in, they took us in rather. And then they took us back to the bus that conveyed us to our own bus that conveyed us to Lekki toll gates, and then they were carrying us to somewhere. They were taking the men with the Black Maria, and they were going forward. And then we kept on asking them, like, where are you taking us to? And then they did not answer. So when we got to Third Milan Bridge, they stopped. So they were trying to communicate with themselves. And then I'm like, why are people stopping in the middle of the road? Why are people stopping at Third Milan Bridge? Is this how people want to treat us? Probably you guys just want to ask us to come out and you guys throw us inside the water and everything. And of course, nobody is going to know anything. If you guys can actually do the unspeakable to people at Lekki toll gates in broad daylight where people are aware of, then not talk of we that nobody's aware of about our whereabouts, our phones are being seized, our family members do not know where we are, nobody's going to ask. So if, as you guys are stopping here, if you guys throw us inside this water, nothing is going to happen. And then they were not like, no, why they talk like that? That they're trying to make call to find out if where they are, which of the office that they are going to take us to, if they are taking us to Ikeja or they are taking us to Banting. So after some back and forth phone conversation, they agreed to head to Banting. So by then already the male Black Maria was already far ahead in front of us. So we were like, we don't want to go anywhere that the male Black Marias, they are not taking the male comrades to. We want to go to the same place they are taking them to. So let's go together. And then we finally got to Banti. When we got to Banti, they asked us to come down. The policemen at Banti received us and they were trying to amend situations and try to calm our spirits down. It was a case of we have, but it's normal, we have the good and the bad. Even the days of Jesus Christ, we had the good disciple and the one that betrayed him. So of course in the Nigerian police force we have the good police and we have the bad police. So that was what that happened. We had the ones that, you know, they were there and they understood the struggle and they understood why we're out and they understood that we did not commit any crime. So they also sympathized with us. And of course, we had the ones that were proving that, you know, whatever they did were justified and they were just obeying orders. So Soweto said that we're not going to say anything to them or have any conversation with them until our lawyers come and everything. So they just took down only our names and then our lawyers came. Then the CP came in, I think about 2 hours later, 2 hours, 30 minutes later, the CP came in and, you know, he was trying to amend the situations. And when he wanted to address us, we said, okay, there were people that still had their phones with them. So we said, okay, we would also want to video since your policemen are videoing us. So we would also want to have our own video and have this whole thing on record. And he refused and said, this is his own premises and we have to obey his rules. Meanwhile, before he came, they when we got there, they gave us 2 bags of pure water to drink, and then, you know, the comrades rejected the water. Obviously, you cannot treat us like animals, and you want to give us water to drink. It doesn't make any iota of sense. So after the lawyers came and then they spoke with the CP, they went aside, they spoke, and at the end of the day, CP said he was going to look into the case. I personally went to meet the CP and I said, this is what happened to me with a female officer, and I would like you to summon the female officer down to Banti here so that I could see her one on one, and I want to have a conversation with her. And then he asked me her name. I said, I do not know, but just ask the female officers that were on duty at Lekki Toll Gates few hours ago to come down to Banti. This particular person that did this was on mask, so there's no way I can recognize her. But when she comes down over to this place, and obviously she's the only one wearing the mask and she's slim, I would definitely point and say this is the person. And he said I should please, that he was going to look into the matter, this, that. I'm like, that's all I'm asking you for, and all. And then he promised to return our phones back to us, of which he did. And some people's phones were, the screen of their phones were already broken. Some people were looking for their money. There was a female comrade that the tear gas, the canister hit her leg. There was other comrade Fumi also, while they were trying to push us into the Black Maria, her leg also hit the iron, so the leg got swollen. It was just a lot, and it was a very traumatic experience. But this just shows that the police force, the entire police force, they're not professionally trained and well educated on their primary duties of the police force towards a common Nigerian citizen. Because I personally believe that if I was to be a celebrity, or any of us there was to be a celebrity, or a politician, or a rich person, they would treat us differently. We have the police force that they are out there, they are driving the big men, they are opening doors, they are carrying handbags for people because of how much. And our policemen literally turn to houseboys for these big men. They carry their bags, they open doors for them, they salute them, they drive them in convoy for peanuts. I'm not against you doing your job, driving politicians and people in offices, because obviously they have the right for protection. But there are policemen, literally, if there's a certain amount of money I will have in my account, I can actually order for police and they'll be at my beck and call. That's the kind of people that we're going to give our lives to protect. So we are in a country where the current governor, the current president, is against protest. But I remember when I was in University of Abuja, and it was during Goodluck Jonathan Ibele's regime. I remember that this president Tinubu, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, actually led a protest. I was in Abuja that time, and I remember he led a protest concerning fuel subsidy, of which is now the architecture of the suffering that we are facing currently in Nigeria. And there's something that they say, the younger ones learned from the elders. You are a leader. You taught us how to protest. You taught me how to protest. So I am in the streets because I learned from the master, which is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So if you tell me protest is a crime, and then I need to get police permit to protest, then I need a letter, not a forged one, because we live in a country where anything can be forged. A letter. The time that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu wrote to the police force during Jonathan's time and the subsequent protests he led, writing to the police force that he needed to come out on the streets and protest against the then government. I need the police force to publish that letter of permission that the president currently took, because I am taking his footstep. Personally, you protested. I am protesting too for the right thing. The time you were not in this seat, you claimed that you were fighting for the citizen, and your protest was for the best interest of the greater goal of Nigeria and for the citizens. So I learned from you. And now you are the president and you do not want anybody to protest. You cannot, the past is the mother of the future. You cannot sow a seed and expect for it not to germinate. You taught us this. We followed your footsteps. And now, is the president trying to tell us that protest was actually wrong all this time? Then if that's what he's trying to say, then we should do the right thing, so that in few years to come, people would not follow this step that he's trying to lay right now and do it. And then at that time, they now start saying, oh, what you are doing is wrong. It's not constitutionally right. Because if the president led protests till he became a president, I, Jennifer Rita Obiora, will continue to come out, and other comrades in NSAS bad governance, we will continue to come out until there is change. If you kill us today, you will not kill the entire Nigerians. And there are 1,001 Nigerians out there that would still come out and speak. And one good thing about karma is the blood of those people would always question you. And I'm sure that most of these people, they don't sleep well at night. They do not sleep well at night. Um, 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 Oji Kalu, the Senate for, I think, Abia State. Yeah, he was saying something about the 14 million that they are receiving in a month is not enough. Our politicians not wicked. Is this not the same thing that we are fighting for? But a police officer that served the police with their might, their sweat, their blood, and their tears, without any other side hustle, no side job is allowed for you while you are still in the police force, for 35 years, will be settled with 1.8 million. Are the police reasoning? And these are the same people that we are fighting for their rights. We're praying and hoping that someday Nigeria will get better and they would also benefit from it. An average police officer cannot afford 3 square meal. If your gratuity at the end of 35 years of your service is 1.8 million, are you not supposed to join us? Are you not supposed to be the one at the front leading us? I don't know. I feel like they are brainwashed, and lack of education has eaten deep into the police force. So they're like zombies. They just do what they are being asked to do.
Tell us about
Our lawyers are already working on that. The female officer that harassed me would not go scot-free. This is the second time I'm actually experiencing a traumatic experience from the Nigerian police force, in as much as I'm a good citizen of Nigeria. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I love the police force. I came from a background of military. My mom was a soldier. So I am from a uniform background. I love the force, but I do not stand for corrupt officers, regardless of how much I love them. I stand for the good police officer. If your slogan is police is your friend, then try and treat us like friends.
okay.
During the last NSAS, I was very active. I also participated heavily during the NSAS, and I was hospitalized for 2 months afterwards. I still have my scars in my body. And having those scars, it's a lot, because I was out there like every other Nigerian, fighting for my rights, fighting for, I have, as at that time, I've never been brutalized by police. So I was there, not because it has happened to me, but because I had fellow Nigerians that they have experienced police brutality, and a lot of young souls have actually died in the course of police brutality and harassment. So I needed to lean my voice, and which other best way would I do that? I needed to come out and also speak. So I was actively present at NSAS, and when the police also showed us that they are still who they are, I was affected. I have everlasting scars in my body. What was my offense? What did I do? I thank God I'm alive because, of course, in Nigeria, your life means nothing to them. Our life didn't matter. I'm not better than those that didn't survive. I had fellow Protestants that they didn't survive. And that was why I knew that no matter what, I needed to just keep fighting till Nigeria gets better, at least for their sake. For the fact that I survived these horrific incidents that took